Right now, in the American West, firefighters are stretched thinner than at almost any point this year. As of this morning, Wednesday, August 12th, the country is sitting at Preparedness Level 5, the highest level there is. That means every national firefighting resource in the United States is already committed, nothing left in reserve. According to the National Interagency Fire Center's most recent situation report, 104 large fires are actively being fought across the country, and those fires alone have burned more than 3.8 million acres. Add in everything else that's charred this season, and the national total is well past 6 million acres, more than 1.5 times the 10-year average for this point in summer. So today I want to walk you through what's actually happening on the ground, state by state, because there's a lot moving fast, and some of it changed just in the last few hours. Let's start with Nevada, because there's genuine breaking news here. The Bug Fire and the Fred Mountain Fire, which had been burning separately just north of Reno, merged into one fire earlier this week, and that combined blaze has now become the largest wildfire in Nevada this year. Overnight growth pushed it past 57,000 acres, and containment is sitting at only around 3%. What's new as of today is that investigators say a woman has been arrested in connection with the Fred Mountain side of the fire, accused of deliberately setting multiple fires along Fred's Mountain Road. That's a very different story than the dry lightning narrative a lot of people assumed. Nearby, a separate fire called the Stallion Fire ignited just this week south of Pyramid Lake and has already burned past 20,000 acres. Together, these fires are threatening roughly 3,000 homes across the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, Hungry Valley, Antelope Valley, Winnemucca Ranch, Spanish Springs, and several other North Valleys communities. Governor Joe Lombardo's state of emergency for Washoe County remains active. FEMA has approved federal disaster funding to help cover firefighting costs, and Washoe County schools have canceled classes again today. If you're anywhere near Reno, the Evelyn Mount Community Center is open for evacuees. The Reno Sparks Livestock Event Center is taking in horses and other large animals, and several hotels around town, including some of the big casino resorts, are offering discounted rooms with proof that you've been displaced. Winds up to 35 miles an hour and bone-dry fuel mean today could bring another significant push of fire growth. So if you're in that area, don't assume this is winding down. Now let's head north to Washington State. The Sinlahekin Fire, burning near Tonasket in Okanogan County, has grown to just over 150,000 acres as of this morning, and it's still showing extreme behavior, group torching, long-range spotting, the kind of fire activity that outruns containment lines. Evacuation orders, road closures, and trail closures remain in effect throughout that part of Okanogan County. Not far away, the Little Giant Fire northwest of Leavenworth is still only lightly contained and has already destroyed more than 24 structures, with long-range spotting continuing to threaten homes and infrastructure. And we can't talk about Washington without mentioning Spokane, where a cluster of fires, including one called Old Trails, tore through the city's outskirts and destroyed over 770 structures, one of the worst urban wildland fire disasters in the state's history. The good news is containment on those Spokane area fires has climbed into the 70s and even high 90% range, so that immediate crisis has largely stabilized, even though some evacuation zones are still in place while crews finish mop up. Wyoming's situation has escalated fast, and it deserves your attention even though it doesn't always make national headlines. The Weiser Fire southeast of Lander is now the largest wildfire Wyoming has seen this year, after exploding by more than 10,000 acres in a single overnight stretch. It remains at 0% containment with extreme fire behavior, and Highway 28 through South Pass is closed. Evacuation warnings are active for the Twin Creek drainage area, meaning residents there need to be packed and ready to leave the moment that order gets upgraded. A second fire, the Cold Springs Fire near Douglas in Converse County, ignited just this week and forced hundreds of residents to evacuate as police went door-to-door Monday night. Multiple structures were reported engulfed as the fire raced through ranch land west of the city. Wyoming State Forester has publicly called this one of the busiest, most complex fire seasons the state has experienced in years, and federal forecasters expect the fire risk here to keep climbing through September as the West fire danger effectively migrates eastward into the Rockies. Oregon is right there with Washington in terms of scale. The Big Grass Fire, straddling the Oregon-Idaho border southwest of Jordan Valley, is now over 500,000 acres, making it one of the largest fires burning anywhere in the country this year. It's cost more than $40 million to fight so far, and while containment has climbed to 35%, Incident Command is transferring to a new management team today as the fire settles into what's being described as a long, grinding suppression effort. Meanwhile, the Wright Spring fire near Sprague River nearly doubled in size overnight earlier this week and is showing extreme fire behavior with numerous homes and critical infrastructure under threat. Officials aren't expecting full containment on that one until November. And keep an eye on Mount Hood National Forest, where a newer fire called the Austin Fire ignited southeast of Estacada and is already showing aggressive running and spotting behavior in its earliest hours. Over in Utah, 3 major fires are burning at once, and 2 of them are essentially uncontrolled. The Widemouth 2 fire in Fish Lake National Forest is the state's largest at well over 120,000 acres, and containment has actually made real progress, now up to 30%, though it's still producing long-range spotting and torching. This is also the fire where 2 helicopter pilots lost their lives last week when their aircraft went down while working in steep terrain, a reminder of just how dangerous this work is. The Rocky Canyon Fire, southwest of Hennifer and Morgan County, is the one that should worry you most right now. It nearly tripled in a single overnight period and remains at 0% containment with extreme wind-driven fire behavior. Mandatory evacuations are active there, and State Route 66 is closed. The Black Canyon Fire, further south near Price, is smaller but also completely uncontained, with mandatory evacuations in effect for nearby residential areas. Behind all of this is a firefighting operation of a scale most people never see. International crews from Australia and New Zealand are working fire lines in the Pacific Northwest right now. Active duty Army soldiers out of Joint Base Lewis McChord have been deployed to fight fire in Washington. Military C-130 air tankers are flying suppression missions out of Klamath Falls and Redding. And in Nevada, National Guard Chinook and Black Hawk helicopters are running water drops near Reno as we speak. This is what Preparedness Level 5 actually looks like in practice. Every available resource, civilian and military, foreign and domestic, pulled into one fight. The weather isn't offering much relief either. Forecasters are calling for continued hot, dry, breezy conditions across the region, with elevated fire danger concentrated in northeastern California, southern Idaho, and Wyoming. There's a real risk of dry lightning moving through parts of the Sierra and Great Basin in the coming days, thunderstorms with little to no rain that can spark brand new fires without warning. Arizona is actually getting some relief from increasing monsoon moisture, but for most of the interior west, forecasters expect above normal fire potential to persist through August and then shift toward Idaho and Wyoming as we move into September. In other words, this isn't a story that wraps up this week. We're in the middle of it. So if you live anywhere in this region, here's what actually matters for you tonight. Know your evacuation level before you go to sleep. Level 3 means leave immediately. Level 2 means be packed and ready to go at a moment's notice. Level 1 means stay alert and pay attention. Have a go bag ready with identification, medications, insurance paperwork, and chargers. Something you can grab in under 2 minutes without thinking. Sign up for your county's emergency alert system today if you haven't already. Don't wait until you can smell smoke to do it. If you have horses or livestock, know your evacuation plan for them specifically. Several counties, including Churchill County near Fallon, are offering free stalls and camping space for evacuees with animals. And for real-time evacuation zones across all of these fires, perimetermap.com is the tool agencies themselves are using, so that's your best source, not a random map you find on social media. This story is moving hour by hour. New fires are starting, existing ones are merging, and containment numbers that were true this morning may already be outdated by tonight. I'll be back with another full update as soon as there's meaningful new information, so if this was useful, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. And if you know anyone living in Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Oregon, or Washington, send this their way because the information in this video could genuinely help them make a safer decision today. Stay alert, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next one.